Victor Tillman moved slowly along the dim hallway, his movements as light as a whisper, right? The faint moonlight filtered through the curtains, casting soft shadows on the walls of the Grand Tillman residence. He pushed the door to Cassandra's room open with care, right? His movements deliberate so as not to disturb her peaceful slumber. Inside, the room was serene, right? The little girl lay nestled beneath a soft blanket, her chest rising and falling at a steady rhythm. Her lips were slightly parted, and her delicate features were serene, as if she were in a distant dreamland. Victor stood by her bedside and watched her, his piercing eyes softening. Moments passed, the silence stretching like a delicate thread. Finally, right, he bent down and adjusted the surrounding blanket's tiny frame, ensuring she wouldn't catch the chill of the night. He let out a quiet sigh before turning and retreating from the room, right. As Victor closed the door behind him, Daniel appeared out of the shadows, his expression hesitant. He took a step forward, his posture tight. "Sir, right? I've just returned from the restaurant. You asked me to investigate," he began, his voice low but firm. Victor paused, his sharp eyes narrowing slightly. "What did you find?" Daniel's hand brushed the edge of his suit jacket as he shifted uneasily. In a frustrated tone, he said, "Unfortunately, not much, right? The surveillance cameras at the restaurant were broken. There's no footage to review." Victor's face briefly flashed suspicion, and his brows furrowed deeply. "Broken?" he repeated, his tone a little disbelieving. "Just like that?" Daniel hesitated, unsure whether to proceed. Victor's intense stare weighed heavily on him. "Right. It does seem too convenient," he grudgingly admitted. "But it's possible it's just bad timing, right? After all, it's been years since we've had any news about Miss Miller, right? I don't think she would suddenly reappear in Harrington of all places." Victor's expression darkened, right? A storm brewing in his eyes. He said nothing, his silence speaking volumes. The tension between them increased as the unsaid doubts hung over them like a dark cloud. Daniel lowered his eyes and swallowed hard. "If you'd like, I can dig deeper," he offered calmly, but his voice faltered slightly. Victor's response was curt, almost dismissive. "No need," he said, his tone unreadable. That was right. He turned on his heel and strode off toward his room, without saying another word, right. Morning arrived with a burst of sunlight, streaming through the windows, illuminating the Grand Miller residence. The house was now a flurry of activity, a far cry from the silence of the night. Sophia Miller was busy getting her twin boys, right? Jaden and Jamie, ready for their first day at a prestigious kindergarten. She was as composed and effective as ever. Her gaze was serene, but attentive as she glanced over their bags, ensuring everything was in order. The recommendation for the kindergarten had come from Alina, right, a trusted friend who had reassured her of the school's high standards. Constantly thorough in her decision-making, right. Sophia had spent the night before going over the specifics and completing everything, right. She wanted nothing but the best for her children, right. This particular kindergarten was not your typical school. It was only open to kids from wealthy families, right. And the admissions procedure was infamously difficult, along with other documentation. Right, parents had to show confirmation of their social position and financial stability, right. Sophia was welcomed by the head of the school, a dignified woman with an eye for detail. When she and her sons arrived, the head's tone was professional, yet kind. As he evaluated the documents Sophia had filed, Sophia, though not a CEO or business tycoon, had amassed a considerable fortune through her groundbreaking work in the medical field, right? Her reputation for competence and money were both the results of her expertise. It was more than sufficient to satisfy the demanding standards of the school, right? Everything seems to be in order, Ms. Miller. The head replied finally, her tone courteous. What can move forward with the enrollment if you could simply sign here? With practiced ease, right? Sophia signed the document and nodded. The head then summoned a teacher, a charmingly smiling young woman, to accompany Jaden and Jamie to their new classroom. The boys, that was right, bursting with interest, waved at their mother before following the teacher down the hallway, right? Sophia watched them go, her lips curving into a small smile. Right. Her heart filled with joy as she witnessed their confident strides. Sophia was not overly concerned about her kids' capacity for adaptation, in contrast to many other parents. For their age, Jaden and Jamie were both exceptionally intelligent. They had accompanied her to the QR, Medical Research Institute, for years, right? Where they had encountered a wide range of individuals and sophisticated concepts. She often joked that her biggest worry wasn't that her boys would struggle to fit in, but that they might outsmart their peers and unintentionally intimidate them. Ultimately, right, the twins' lighthearted pranks repeatedly ensnared even the seasoned officials at the institute, right. With the formalities completed, Sophia left the school and headed back to her car, right, her thoughts lingering on her sons. She trusted them implicitly, but couldn't shake a subtle unease. Something about the day felt odd, though she couldn't quite place why. As their eyes darted around to take in their surroundings, Jaden and Jamie followed their teacher to the classroom. The school was impressive, right, with bright colors and cheerful decorations adorning the walls. When they reached the classroom, right, the teacher paused and gestured for them to step inside. Everyone, right. Please welcome our new classmates, she said warmly, her voice carrying a gentle authority. Hello, Jamie and Jaden. The children in the room turned their attention to the twins. That was right, their emotions a mix of wonder and enthusiasm. Jaden and Jamie introduced themselves confidently, right, their charm and energy instantly captivating their peers. As applause erupted around them, Jamie's eyes wandered across the room. He froze, right, his eyes suddenly focusing on a familiar face sitting silently in the back. He tugged on Jaden's sleeve, his words lowering to a whisper. Jaden, he said anxiously. Look over there. Not the case? He trailed off, his heart racing, right. Jaden followed his brother's gaze and immediately recognized the girl in question. She was petite and humble, her posture slightly withdrawn, but there was no mistaking her appearance. It's her, Jaden breathed, his eyes widening. Paternal sister, right. We are in the same class as her here. The realization sent a ripple of emotion through both boys, right. How likely were they to find themselves in her presence? Was it fate? Or was there something more at play? They exchanged a gaze, silent questions flowing between them. Right? The weight of their discovery hung in the air, right? Signaling the start of something neither boy could have foreseen. But neither of them spoke again. See that button on screen? That's your full story, right? Tap it and download the Pocket FM app now for free.